We got another show for you today. Your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen, coming to you live. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we got a good one for you today. We're talking about live bait. So get ready, tune in. It's Opsin USA Thursday. We always talk about an Opsin product on Thursday, and today we're talking about Opsin fluorocarbon. Go to opsinusa.com and order yourself up some Opsin fluorocarbon. You're going to need fluorocarbon, especially after we get done talking about this today, this show. You're going to want to make sure you got some fluorocarbon. And why does Dave like Opsin so much? And the industry's loving Opsin. There's so many people using it now. It's insane. The number one reason why I love to use it is because it's clear. And I believe in my heart that the whole idea of putting on fluorocarbon is to make sure the fish don't see it. And if it's colored fluorocarbon, if you can see the color, I guarantee you the fish that their whole life depends on not eating your bait, they can see the color. So Opsin USA, go to Opsin USA, order yourself up some fluorocarbon and get that shipped straight to you. And on your way out the door, put in the code YSWG and you're going to save on your order. And you're going to get it shipped straight to your house. So go to Opsin USA and do that. Gang, your saltwater guide, Captain Dave Hansen. We got a good one for you today. We're talking live bait. We just came out of one of the most historic seasons in Southern California that we've ever seen with the Dorado fishing that was going on. That was absolutely insane, wasn't it? That was incredible. Plus the bluefin and the yellowfin that trickled in a little bit. And the bluefin that's still biting. But something I want you to understand, and I read a lot of this on the different forums about bait this year. Guys complaining, oh, the bait sucked. Oh, the bait this, the bait that, the bait this, the bait that. Those of us on the West Coast, we're blessed to have this live bait fishery and to have these companies that are out fishing for live bait every night for us. We're very, very blessed to have that. And then for you to get on the boards and complain about the live bait is absolutely ludicrous. 90% of the problems that we have with the live bait is not from the bait company. It's not from the guys at the bait barge. It's because you got a crappy bait pump or a crappy bait tank. And we've talked about this so many times, and I have videos on my website, Your Saltwater Guide, all about this. But we're going to talk about this today because now we're into the winter time, rainy, stormy, windy. It's a good time to do a little maintenance on your boat and get ready for the season. If it's anything like last year, the season's going to start right away again. You're going to want to get at least go through your bait system, that you existing bait system you have. If you got a couple extra bucks, get a spare bait pump, gang. You always want to have a spare bait pump. It's crucial on the private boat live bait fishery. But what I want you all to do is I want you to get your boat, go look at your system, your bait system. I bet you after this season, 90% of you guys are running around with corroded wires. Your wires on your bait pump are probably corroded. Your bait pump's probably old, probably slow. It probably doesn't fill your bait tank up quick enough. And your bait system on your private boat probably, just for lack of a better word, absolutely sucks. Remember what we always say. Your bait tank has to fill up in 8 minutes. It can fill up between 7 and 8. If it fills up faster than 7, you're killing your bait. If it takes longer than 8 minutes, not seconds, Jesus, what are you, high? Minutes. It's got to fill up between 7 and 8 minutes. If it fills up slower than 8 minutes, that's going to kill your bait. If it fills up faster than 7 minutes, that's going to kill your bait. You want to go look at your bait system. You want to, oh my goodness, I'm going to sneeze. You want to make sure that your bait tank is not square. You want to make sure that your bait tank is round or oval in shape. You want to make sure that the flow is going in one direction. If your bait pump is just dumping the water in your bait tank at just pouring it in on the top. Here's what a lot of bait tanks do. The water pours in on the top and pours out on the top. And you probably have that bait tank, those of you that are listening. If your bait tank fills in at the top and the drain's at the top, then you got no flow of the water. I commend our bait companies up and down the coast. They give us the best bait possible. Yeah, they fish 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sometimes during the heat of the season, like when that Dorado was biting. But it's not the bait. It's not the bad bait. It's the bad bait system on your boat that's causing your bait to die. So many people want to blame the bait company. Gang, they're bringing in epic product. The product that they're bringing in, the live bait, it's phenomenal. Very, very rarely is it not high quality. So what I want you to do is check your bait system, gang. You got to make sure that the tank flows in one direction. That way the sardines or the anchovies have a chance to swim against the current. If it's just dumping in like we were talking about before and draining out the top, well, then you got no oxygen flow in the bottom of the tank. You got no water flow in the bottom of the tank. All that bait's going to die. There's nothing you can do about it. Also, if it's just dumping in like 5 or 6 different directions, if those little holes where the water comes in are all pointing in a different direction, that's like a washing machine to those poor little baits. That's going to kill your bait. All this matters, and it matters so much that it will change what you're doing out there on the water, gang. It'll absolutely change every aspect of fishing if your bait is alive. It'll change what you catch. It'll change your bait presentation when you're out there chasing foamers or pulling up on kelp patties. If you're pulling up on a kelp patty with a bunch of dead bait, then there's probably a pretty good chance you're going to catch nothing. Those of you on the East Coast, you don't really understand, but we have these large bait companies with big boats that look like the deadliest catch boats that go out every night and catch us bait, so that when we leave in the morning, we don't have to go out and make bait. We pull up to a bait barge and we trade a $50 bill for a tank full of bait. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty bitchin' setup. But on the East Coast, they have no comprehension of what we're talking about because they have to go out and catch their bait in and day out. And they make sure their bait system works really well because they're catching that bait. The last thing they want to do is put that bait in a tank that's going to kill your bait. You want to make sure you don't do that either. Also, gang, real quick, before we go any farther, Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Festival, March 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I'll be speaking. I'll be there. Kelly and I will be there. We'll have a big booth. ProTech Offshore and myself will be sharing a big booth. We have a fishing simulator in there so you can check out how that fighting grip works and you can see what all the hype's about. Plus, I'll be there speaking up on the main stage every day. You want to go to PCS, Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Festival, and purchase your tickets sooner than later. I'm telling you, this thing's going to sell out. Not that I'm all that in a bag of chips, but we're getting about 2 to 4 million views a week, getting 8 to 10 million views a month on each different social media platform. So there's going to be a lot of people there to listen to me speak for some strange reason. So you're going to want to make sure you get those tickets now. Make sure you get your tickets, get those dates blocked off, and be at the show. It's going to be phenomenal. Bring your children. As you know, when I'm up on stage, I never ever say a naughty word, and I make sure that all the children know how happy I am to see them there, and I'll have plenty of free stuff for all the kids. So make sure you mark those dates for the Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Festival at the Orange County Fairgrounds, and get those tickets early before it sells out. All right, back to what we were talking about. So your bait system, gang. Look at, if your bait pump doesn't look really good, it's time to buy a new one. Save up some money in the next couple months and buy yourself a new bait pump. If your bait pump looks cool, but the connections are all corroded, it's time to change those connections. It's super important to make sure that your bait system's ready because the season, like I said, is going to start sooner than later. I know it's not even over yet. They're still catching bluefin out there. But as far as most of us, the inshore part of the offshore scene is gone. We had that giant storm come through just now. It knocked that water temperature down 50 51 in some places, 57 in most places. There is no Dorado, there is no yellowfin that are going to be in that cold water. I promise you that. So it's time to start doing some maintenance on your boat and getting ready for the season. And bait pump, bait system is the most important. If you don't fully understand what I'm talking about, go to my website, yoursaltwaterguide.com, and check out the whole series on the bait system. It matters dramatically how the water flows in the tank, the direction it flows, how the water is dispersed in the tank, and how the water leaves the tank. All those things matter in how that bait is going to live. And do yourself and do all of us a favor and quit bitching about the bait that you got at the bait barge, because I guarantee you it's not the bait barge's fault. It's not the bait company's fault. It's your bait pump. It's your bait system. It's your bait tank. If it's a square box, and we talk about this a lot on all of our shows, if it's a square box, the bait can't swim. The bait doesn't know how to make a 90-degree turn. It doesn't know how. It knows how to swim in an oval or a circle, but to go and make a hard left and then make a hard left and then make a hard left, that bait's not going to be able to do that. It's going to crash into the corner, crash into the corner, crash into the corner, and then eventually it's going to have a red nose, and then eventually it's going to be laying on the bottom of the tank taking a nap. Also, another thing to remember is the dead bait in the bottom of your tank is killing your live bait. The moment that bait dies, it'll lay on the bottom of the tank, and if you don't clean it out there, you can actually watch. There's going to be like a toxin oozing out of the dead bait, floating to the surface of your tank. That poison's floating in your tank, and it's going to kill all your bait. You do not want to have any dead bait in your tank when you're out fishing, and you don't want to have a bait tank that doesn't flow at the right flow. It doesn't fill up too fast. It doesn't fill up too slow, and you don't want dead bait in your bait tank. You spend a lot of money, and if you don't think the price of bait is going to go up, then you don't know how bait is caught. The bait company has to go out every night and drive the boat around in the dark looking for bait. It takes fuel to run those boats, and they're going to have to raise the price because the price at the pump is going up, and it's going to go up some more because of what just happened a couple days ago. Everything's going to cost you more here. You watch. It's all going to cost more. Bait's going to cost more, and that's why it's going to be super important to make sure. How do you slow it down? You put a valve in line from the ocean to your bait pump. That's got to be exact water going from the ocean to your pump. Then from the pump to the tank, you can put a valve in the hose, a ball valve that you turn on, and you can control the flow. That's what most of us do on sport boats. That's what most of us do on the bigger yachts. We have a ball valve in line between the pump and the tank. If it's between the ocean and the pump, it's probably going to burn up your pump because there's not enough water flowing into the pump. But if you restrict it coming from the pump going to the tank, that'll be okay. Most pumps can handle that restriction. It's not going to hurt them, but it will hurt them if you slow the flow down from the ocean to the pump. You want it to go from the pump to your tank with a ball valve in between to slow the flow down or turn the flow up, whatever way you need it to go to get it to where it's filling up between 7 and 8 minutes. It's super important. That is super duper important. It's the difference between catching fish and not catching fish. I'm not talking about calico bass fishing with plastic lures. I'm not talking Jimmy Decker or Benny Florentino. I'm talking about you on your boat, taking your live bait and going out there and trying to catch fish. You want to make sure you have the product that you had bought at the bait barge. The product you bought at the bait barge is phenomenal. Those baits that are in that receiver at the bait barge, that's a great product. But what you do with it after you buy it, that's where the problem lies. It lies on your bait system, your bait tank. If you have it out on the swim step, and you drive to the San Clemente Island, or you drive to Catalina on a rough day, or you drive to the Coronado Islands on a rough day, you've beaten the crap out of the bait. That's why almost every boat that fishes regularly with real fishermen, that bait tank's in the middle of the deck. I know you don't want to lose that space. I don't care. I'll tell you, I'll just be honest with you. I don't care what kind of space you got. If you don't have live bait when you get there, who cares what kind of space you have? The nice thing about having that bait tank in the middle of the boat too, for your wife or your girlfriend or your significant other that likes to go harbor cruising, that bait tank becomes a table, because right now, if you think about it, there's no table on your boat. They put their drinks or their cocktails on the rail and they fall in the water. You put your plate of cheese on the rail, it falls in the water. You take that bait tank, you put a nice lid on the top of it, that becomes a beautiful table in the middle of your deck for the wine and the cheese when you're doing your harbor cruise. And then you throw a nice tablecloth on top of it. They'll never even know it's a bait tank. And then as soon as you get them off the boat, you get to go out and start killing fish again. You take that lid off and you fill it up with water and you fill it up with bait and you go fishing with your table. Your table becomes the bait tank when they're gone. When they're there, it's a table. When they're not there, it's a bait tank. It works flawless every single time. But if your tank is out on your swim step, you're killing your bait. You're absolutely destroying it because it's getting the living bejesus beat out of it when you're going to and from the fishing grounds. Also, it's super hard on your passengers and you when you have to reach out over the back of the boat and into the swim step to get a bait every time. When I've done that on different people's boats, at the end of the day, my back is literally on fire. You also want to have the biggest bait tank you could possibly put on your boat. Kelly and I, on our boat, we have a 21-foot Wellcraft. We have a 60-gallon bait tank. Yep, right where those seats are, where you set. I threw those seats in the trash, and I put a bait tank right there, and we set on the tank. Because we don't care how comfortable we are. If we get to where we're going and we don't have any bait, it's not going to matter how comfortable you are. So now you know, we went over a few things. You know that you need to make sure your bait system's working proper, your bait tank's working proper, all your wiring is not all corroded and ready to fall apart when you get offshore next year. Season will probably start right up again real early next year, and you want to be taking care of all these maintenance things now. And bait tank is the only thing that matters to me. I don't care if we got a row to where we're going. I don't care if you have $1 million fish finder. I don't care if you have the greatest fishing rods that they sell. If your bait system sucks, none of that other stuff matters. You want to make sure your bait system is top of the line, works epic, 7 to 8 minutes, tank fill, flow, going in one direction. Go to Opsin USA and get your fluorocarbon. So when you're throwing your live bait out, you got a chance to catch the fish. Go to Pacific Coast Sport Fishing, get those tickets now so you'll be ready to see me speak live on stage in March. I'm telling you, it's going to be mind-boggling, the amount of people that are going to be there. You won't believe it until you see it. If you were at the show last year, you saw it. It was absolutely amazing. Standing room only. I can't understand it, but they were standing 25, 30 people deep. Every chair in the place was full. We're going to have more chairs this year. We're going to have a bigger area, but I'm telling you, it's going to sell out. It's going to sell out quick. Get over to PCS, Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Show. Our Pacific Coast Sport Fishing Festival. Buy your tickets early. It's always too much bait in the bait tank. That's always a big problem. That's always a big problem. That's why I have a whole series on how to load the bait over at my website. It tells you how to do it. YourSaltwaterGuide.com. There's never a reason to not be on the website, gang. I can't even comprehend anyone has to think about spending $9.99 a month if you're fishing. I have over 480 how-to videos over there on how to do everything. And then we have game plans that we put out every Thursday. Don't forget to watch the game plan today. It's going to be really good. We're going to pinpoint you on where to fish for lobsters. Everybody that follows my game plan has been knocking the hell out of the lobsters. All the hot spots videos that I made 35 years ago with Don Brockman and Joe Berrien, we digitalized all that. We have all the hot spots available here at yoursaltwaterguide.com. Thousands of spots, same spots we've been fishing for 100 years. They're available to you over at the website, yoursaltwaterguide.com. Also, we have a holiday special, gang. If any of you are thinking, or you have your friends or family asking you, what can I get you for Christmas? A membership to Dave's website. I've got a hell of a deal going on right now. $200. It's going to give you full access for a 1-year membership. You're going to have full access to the bundles. That's the game plans, the hotspots, the deep drop, and the personal forums. You'll have all that and 1 year for $200. Holiday special. Check it out. We're going to be launching a video this afternoon about the holiday special. And those of you that are in the VIP, don't forget tonight we have a big VIP meeting, a Zoom meeting tonight at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. And then next week on the 15th, we have a Zoom call for everybody. You should have got that email if you're on our email list, to teach you how to use the website, to better utilize the website, because a lot of people don't even know how to use the website or all the cool things that are available on the website. So I'm going to have a Zoom meeting for everybody's invited. It's absolutely free. If you didn't get in on that mailing, make sure you send us an email at yoursaltwaterguide@yahoo.com and we'll get you in on this Zoom meeting. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to go through how the website works and how it can help you to catch more fish on your private boat, or when you go out on a charter boat, or when you go out on a sport boat. I'm going to run through the whole website on that Zoom meeting, teach you how to do it. No one's ever done anything like this. There is no website available anywhere on the planet like Your Saltwater Guide. I want you to be able to utilize the whole thing. So my social media director, Kelly, and myself came up with the idea to have this Zoom meeting for everybody so you better understand how the website works, because you can't Google how it works. You can't YouTube how it works, because there is nothing out there to show you how it works. The only person that knows how it works is some of my hardcore members and me and Kelly and Elliot. But we're going to teach you all on the 15th how to use it. Make sure you're on the mailing list. It's going to absolutely change what you catch, I promise you. YourSaltwaterGuide.com. I appreciate everything you all do for me. Thank you for all the views. Thanks for watching all my videos every day. Spotify and Apple Podcasts coming on strong, signing up lots of members over there. I can't even believe how fast that's growing, the podcast. Once again, thank you, everyone, everybody. And don't forget our store, Your Saltwater Guide, the store. We have t-shirts, sweaters, t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, coffee cups, hats, stickers. We have everything you need. Everyone's asking you, what can I get you for the holidays? Well, you can get me some Your Saltwater Guide swag. It'd be cool to see a couple hundred people show up at the show wearing my stuff. All right, gang. Thanks for joining us today. We'll have another great show for you tomorrow. Have a great day. Be kind to each other. Turn off the news. They're all lying. I can't believe you can't even count the ballots in America anymore. What the hell's going on? People down here in Mexico are just shocked that you're telling us it's going to be till after Christmas before you can count the ballots. Whatever. All right. See ya.